Hey everybody, it's me, Zack. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zack, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Miss Gabbie Hanna, who I have previously talked about a few times on my channel, mostly just like reacting to her music videos, but I also did do a whole review of her second poetry book, Dandelion, which I do have still right here. And I've also more recently actually bought her first poetry book, Adultolescence, as well. And I actually, since doing the review of this book, have started incorporating Gabby Hanna poetry into my Twitch streams. So if you don't go on Twitch often, one of the things you can do is redeem like channel points that you earn by participating in the chat and things like that. And on my channel, you can redeem some channel points to get me to read a poem from a Gabby Hanna book. So I have been connected to Gabby in that way. I'm gonna be honest, well, you could go watch my review of Dandelion and what I had to say there, but like overall my feelings about Gabby Hanna's poetry is that it's not great. We're not talking like Emily Dickinson, Maya Angelou, any of the like, great poets of our time. But it is what it is. it really is what it is, and that's how I feel about that. Now, what I want to talk about today is that Miss Gabbie Hanna has gone on like a day-long tirade over this woman named Rachel Oates, who is also a YouTuber. Now, Gabby Hanna has millions of subscribers on her main channel, and also like 2.5 million Twitter followers. I first saw all of this going down on Twitter, so that's where we'll start. But like, in general, I want to emphasize that Gabby Hanna has significantly more followers, a larger following than anything Rachel Oates has on any platform anywhere. Now, if you don't know Rachel Oates, she's a YouTuber. She actually started subscribing to my channel. You can sometimes see when people subscribe to you if they don't have their settings set to like tell you that they don't want to share their subscriptions. And she started subscribing to my channel right after I posted my Dandelion video. So that's how I found out about her. That, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, Rachel Oates also like reviews Gabby Hanna poetry, like you should go watch her stuff. So the only thing I've ever watched of Rachel Oates, and that's what I want to be clear about, just to tell you that like if she has done or said something that I don't know about, then that's that. But the only video that I have watched of hers is when she reviewed Dandelion. And to be quite honest, I kind of thought it was like a fair review from what I could tell, okay? Those are my biases going into this. That's where I'm at when it comes to all of the things on here and that we're about to talk about. But I do think we need to talk a little bit about Gabby's response to all of this, all of her social media interaction yesterday, because she did end up trending for some time. Actually, I think this morning I saw that she was still popping up in the little trending bar next to my Twitter feed. So, I think it's worthwhile to talk about, especially considering, I am a connoisseur of Gabby Hanna poetry. I also want to say this about Rachel. From what I could find, there were like 7 videos altogether clearly dedicated to Gabby Hanna, okay? 7. So we're talking about a woman who has 380 videos altogether. So we're talking about a very small amount of her videos dedicated to Miss Gabby Hanna. The last one she did was the Dandelion review that I talked about, and that was posted on October 26, 2020, okay? So we're talking about almost 6 months ago at this point was the last time that Rachel had anything to say about Gabby on YouTube. So I think those are also some important things to keep in context. The tirade all started with this particular tweet. Gabby said, "I still can't believe I wrote a funny, engaging, thematic poetry book about SA, mortality, childhood, mental illness, and as my first release. And all people cared to share was link in bio and family is relatives. The internet is full of a bunch of unempathetic, manipulative, money-hungry losers. I'm done letting myself feel bad about that." So I guess what I want to say about this particular tweet is that, like, I definitely, as somebody who's read these books or parts of these books, because I haven't read all of the first one yet, but as somebody who's read these poems, I will say, like, you do have some very serious stuff in there, but what I don't think that keeps you free from is that there's no way to critique the actual poetry, right? Like, your poetry is still art, and it's still welcome to critique, and people don't have to like it just because it's about serious topics or issues, right? Like, just because you're writing about those things doesn't mean that, like, the writing is good or that the poetry is good. Like, people write bad poetry, novels, etc. about those topics all the time, and they're not all, like, bestsellers, okay? So I think it's okay for people to critique those things, and I could understand from Gabby's perspective how it might be difficult to separate the critique of the art from potentially a critique of her own personal lived experience. Now, at least from the Dandelion video that I watched of Rachel's, I didn't get the sense that she was critiquing Gabby's personal experiences. Perhaps that looks different on these other videos. From what I could tell, from what I've heard people say, that's not that's not my understanding of what happened. But that seems to be Gabby's understanding of what happened. I also want to say that a lot of the critiques that I've seen, because another person I follow is Aphrodite's Peach, and she has critiqued actually both of the poetry books. A lot of the critiques I've seen from Aphrodite's Peach, from Miss Rachel Oates, from other folks on the internet, seems to be that Gabby awkwardly places these very serious poems that come with no kind of like trigger warning, content warning, etc. And she places them like smack dab in between the most silly, useless, not great poems ever. And so that is like also a critique that a lot of people had, myself included. I'm fairly positive that's something I said in the Dandelion book, which is just that, like, yes, it's great that you want to talk about these things. It's great that you're engaging in them, but you do it in the middle of like poems where you're attempting to be the next Shel Silverstein. And Shel Silverstein, if you don't know, is like a kid's poet, right? So like, how am I supposed to go in between these different moods? And it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy reading a silly poem. And let me tell you, here are some of the poems that she's interlacing these very serious topics in with, okay? Here's one called Concealer, okay? Oh, there's some butts that she drew, but that they don't have anything to do with this poem. But this one's called Concealer. I wear makeup because I have acne. I have acne because I wear makeup. Wow. How profound, okay? And then this is one of the ones that she was talking about in her own tweet that people always bring up. And this, you guys, this is gonna be so profound, I kid you not. It's called Relative. Time is relative. Beauty is relative. Family is relatives. So it's just like, okay, you want to give me that poem, but then you also want to give me these poems. And trust me, she does have very serious poems in there. I've read them. I'm not saying that they don't exist or that they're not valid or that her experience isn't valid. I'm just saying, when you put those up next to those poems that I just read, it's like, what am I supposed to be taking from this? This is jarring, but this is not a review of her work. I'm just saying that this is the very valid, in my opinion, critiques people have given her, and now she's like getting upset that people aren't taking things more seriously because she's covering serious topics. So after that happened, Gabby shared this tweet about this parody book that Rachel made once upon a time with her dog. I also just want to say Rachel Oatmeal took the time to write a book from the perspective of a dog, since I wrote mine from the perspective of an abused child to mock me, yet she's still too much of a coward to release under her own name. What a loser. LMAO. And Rachel did respond to this in a number of ways. One thing she said is like, hey, by the way, my name is attached to this. Like, I have a whole video on my channel where, like, I had my dog participate in, like, picking out the words for the poems and things like that. And then Rachel also pointed out, like, hey, I gave credit to the poems that things were inspired by. And by the way, look at all of these poems. Like, this is what she's saying is mocking her experience and things like that. So I'm going to let you decide what you think about those, but I will insert those right here. And I have to say, whether you like it or not, like, parody is something that happens to, like, a lot of famous artists, okay? Parody exists. Parody is a thing that is in the world. And also, like, a lot of people say imitation's the biggest form of flattery, right? Like, this woman spent a whole lot of time to get a book published where she parodied your book, okay? Is she a New York Times bestseller? No, she's not. You are, Gabby, okay? So calm down. Your book sold really well. You made lots of money. This is like a woman making a parody, okay? Parody's gonna happen. Whether it was appropriate or not, like, it's a thing that's gonna happen to you as, like, a public figure. And I'm not saying that that's right or that people should do anything, but I think that what you need to probably work on is, like, how you're going to respond to that, right? Because you can't control what Rachel Oates does on the internet, but you can control what Gabbie Hanna does on the internet, right? Okay, and I think that's going to be more apparent that is something that Gabby needs to start thinking about as she's moving forward on the internet, because it's clear that she feels some type of way, and I don't know that the type of way she's feeling and her response to that is the way to move forward in the future. So then Gabby goes on to tweet this. She quote tweets somebody saying, "What's her at? I wanna talk." And Gabby says she deleted her Twitter when people started calling her out on her abusive, manipulative, relentless abuse towards me, you know, like a cowardly loser. And in my opinion, the way I'm interpreting that tweet is Gabby saying, listen, if you could find her on Twitter, I would send you to her and gobble her up, please, on my behalf. Now, I know she didn't explicitly state any of that. I get it, okay? I get it. But, like, the implication here is she's saying, yes, please go harass this woman. She's harassed me. And, I don't know, harassing Gabby feels like a lot because, like I said, it's like 7 videos and the last one was published 6 months ago. But okay, all right. Now, when Gabby was called out for that, she then tweeted this tweet. Gabby quote tweeted this person who said, "Do you mean you woulda tried to use your platform to send hate to her? Because that's stupid AF." And Gabby quote tweeted it and said, "What kind of monster would do something like that?" And then showed the thumbnails of the videos that Rachel has made about Gabby. Now, I don't believe, at least from the Dandelion video that I watched, that Rachel sent anybody to Gabby. I don't think she said, go send Gabby hate. I don't think she said, here's Gabby's ats, go at her on Twitter, go do this, go do that. Okay, so those things are a little bit different. But nonetheless, this is what Gabby thought was the appropriate response, was to say, hey, here are the things that she said about me. So then Gabby followed up with this tweet where she took a screenshot of one of Rachel's more recent videos. That's just like a get ready with me and chat video that only got 4,000 views. And Gabby was quote tweeting a tweet that was unavailable at the time that I took this screenshot, but Gabby said, because no one cares about her unless she's talking about me, literally. And the point of this is that apparently, unless Rachel is talking about Gabby Hanna, she can't get any views. Now, what I think this is more indicative of this particular thumbnail screenshot is that Rachel's just not good at like managing a consistent YouTube channel, okay? The thing about YouTube is that YouTube and the algorithm love consistency. So they want to see you putting out the same content over and over and over again. It's reasons like that I have a whole separate channel for gaming related videos, because people signed up for my channel because I reacted to videos of YouTubers and I talked about YouTubers and things like that. They didn't subscribe to me so that they could watch me play The Sims. If you do want to go check that out, go look at my second channel. But like, that's not why people subscribe, right? So if I were to come and start posting Sims videos, yeah, there would probably be some of you that would be like, yeah, I love Zack, I'm gonna keep watching it. But a lot of you aren't interested in that type of content. Similarly, Rachel posts a Get Ready With Me, which is not what, if you go look at her most popular videos, none of them are her doing her own makeup and chatting. So, you know, if anything, that's indicative of YouTube's algorithm, okay? That says a lot more about all of that, and that Rachel isn't playing into the YouTube algorithm than it does about people being interested in what Rachel does or does not have to say. You know what I'm saying? It also doesn't acknowledge the fact that, like, many of her videos got significantly good views. If you look at the top 10 videos on Rachel's channel, only 4 of the top 10 are actually about Gabbie. So Rachel has made a ton of other videos about other topics, other people. She does a lot of reviews of YouTubers who put out books and poetry and things like that. You can find reviews of Lily Singh, Trisha Paytas, Girl Defined. So it's not just limited to Gabbie Hanna, but Gabby Hannah thinks it's limited to her, and that there's no way that Rachel could be successful without talking about Gabby Hanna. Now, I will say her most popular video, the one that has over 1 million views, is about Gabbie. But that's one video that has 1 million views. The rest of her videos, Gabbie or not, that are successful, get anywhere between 300 to 500,000 views, okay? So this is not necessarily just about Gabbie, but Gabbie wants y'all to believe that this is just targeted. The only person that Rachel is ever coming for is Gabbie. Now, I can't nearly cover every single thing that Gabbie has said regarding this issue, because she did a lot of tweeting about it and posted a lot of stuff on Instagram. But I will share this particularly long rant that Gabbie went on her Insta story about Rachel that feels like a lot to me, and also want to point out that she tagged Rachel's account in these things. So, like, she is clearly wanting people to go to Rachel. And it's interesting because Rachel is very clearly not on Twitter, right? So, like, it feels like Gabbie intentionally went to Instagram, where Rachel does exist, to go post all of this, to go tag her, to go get everything started.
Rachel is trying to deny the reason she deleted Twitter, so I actually want to let you know what happened. So we have a mutual friend who messaged her outside of me. I literally did not talk to him at all. He saw that she was doing, and he messaged her and he said, have some compassion. You've been the center of hate campaigns online. Leave this girl alone. Like, you're just bullying. And then she started a Twitter campaign trying to say that I manipulated her friend into defending me. That's how narcissistic and abusive this person is, and how much she cannot accept any type of criticism, which is hilarious because she really thinks that I can't accept criticism, when the first time her friend confronted her about her shitty toxic behavior, she blamed me, the permanent scapegoat of the fucking internet, and then stopped talking to her friend. Face yourself, bitch. Like, that's crazy to me. And you know why she hasn't critiqued my work in months? Because the last couple times she did it, she started getting overwhelming hate from people both on the internet and in her real life, because people started to see through it. They were like, why are you still going at this girl? Like, relentlessly. She can't fucking stop. And it's because when she talks about me, she gets hundreds of thousands to millions of views, and then she posts a little makeup get ready with me and gets 4,000. That's why she cares about my art. She's not a fucking artist. I don't care about her fucking opinion, because she has no accomplishments in art or has proven to me that she's actually intellectual enough to understand art. I accept my criticism from talented, smart people, not abusive, toxic, exploitative bullies on YouTube. Hey, Rachel, instead of hopping in my DMs trying to bully and gaslight me from your own abuse, you could just apologize. I know that if I did anything like this, I would be called manipulative, sociopathic, narcissistic, attention hungry, money hungry, but that is who you are. What you did was bully and harass me for months, and then when you got called out of it, got super defensive. Like, you literally just ran away and blocked me instead of looking at your own criticism. You can't take criticism towards yourself at all. I've still never blocked you after all of the harassment. You can't stand even the tiniest ounce of criticism. You're a fucking monster. You're a bitch. Narcissistic abuses, when somebody hurts you over and over and over again over a prolonged period of time, and then whenever you finally stand up for yourself, they say you're having a breakdown. Where the real narcissism comes in is she says I'm talking about her for attention. You mean Miss 4K views on your fucking makeup tutorial? Miss 4K views on your commentary piece a week ago? Yeah, I just checked. I'm talking about you for attention. You talk about me, you get millions. I talk about you, I get still millions, but not because of you. The fact that she said attention-seeking games as if I've ever responded to her before. This is my first time responding to Rachel Oates. So what are my games? Is this a game, or am I just standing up for myself against the people who harassed, exploited, and profited off of me for almost a year? What is it, you manipulative, narcissistic bitch? The problem is, and this is where narcissistic abuse happens, is people think that they can say whatever they want about me and that I can't respond. I'm allowed to respond when I want. It took me a long time to heal and get better because there were mountains of happening to me from all directions at all times, and I couldn't go up against all of it. But right now, this morning, as people are tweeting about this shit, and it made me think about it, and it made me want to defend myself, I'm gonna defend myself. And you don't get to tell me I'm starting drama for finally responding to the months, the multiple videos, the millions of views, the tweets, the Instagram posts, the fact that you made a book mocking me. You fucking weird ass bitch, you published a book mocking me. Said everything I want to say unless she opens her fucking mouth and says something else, because I just want to let everyone know I don't give a fuck anymore about pretty much anything. I mean, I clearly give a fuck. What I mean is I don't give a fuck what people think about me. So I'm gonna start speaking my mind and saying what the fuck I want to say. And when I see harassment, bullying, and abuse, I'm going to stand up for myself the same way I stand up for everybody else. I'm done accepting behavior for myself that I would not accept from my friends. So unless she opens her fucking mouth again, I think I've said my piece. For now, I guess we'll see. But watch her turn this into a video series. If drama means finally having the strength to stand up against people who have harassed, mocked, exploited, and bullied you for years, yeah, I'm a fucking drama queen. I love the drama. Rachel Oates, I'm actually not responding out of nowhere. I'm responding because you have 8 to 10 videos about me on your channel. You published a book mocking me. You tried to cause drama between my actual friend and I. You went on Twitter accusing me of manipulating a friend into standing up against you. What else? Instagram posts, tweets. You're a manipulative bitch, and I'm done dealing with it. Now, I was waiting for you to slow down so I could respond to everything at once when I was mentally strong. That doesn't mean I am having a breakdown. That actually means I'm finally healthy. You fucking sick, twisted bitch. I was done opening my mouth as long as she shut her fucking mouth, and she can't, which is funny because she doesn't want me to respond, and she literally can't help herself from responding even though she's wrong. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, basically what happened was I published a book that was about sexual abuse, childhood trauma, suicidal ideation, mental illness, mortality, amongst other things. It came out, it did great. It was a New York Times bestseller. It sold consistently $40,000 gross every single month for years. And then it was just doing really well. And then as soon as it was trendy to hate me because some person started some random fucking lies about me that nobody cared to look into because I didn't defend myself, then she started a hate campaign about my poetry book because it's so current, right?
Now, I think for the most part, the Insta story speaks for itself, so I'll let you decide how you feel about that. The only thing I'll add is that it just feels like a lot of time to spend on the one person who you feel like gave a critique that you didn't agree with of your art. It feels like weird to me that you want to spend that much time on just like a single person. For what it's worth, I'll also share some responses that Rachel gave. Now, it is difficult because I woke up this morning to go see if she posted anything new to her Insta story, and there's just like nothing at all. Like, she deactivated or deleted her Instagram account. And even when I had taken screenshots last night, like some stuff had disappeared from her story because she blocked Gabby. And because she blocked Gabby, I guess Instagram took down things that like maybe she had like shared from Gabby directly. And so here's just what I do have that is available for you to see from Rachel. I guess in closing, I just kind of wonder why Gabby chooses to focus on like the one negative critique when I know for a fact that like she does have lots of fans and people who adore her work, and I think she would be better served to like lean into that. I mean, I gotta tell you, anytime that I've ever given attention to people who like just clearly are existing on the internet to not like me, like it's never ended well. It really hasn't. And I feel like that's kind of like what Gabby's doing here. She's like sitting here focused on the folks that don't like her, giving attention to that. I mean, like, I don't know, this feels like a perfect example of the Streisand effect. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a little like Wikipedia screenshot here and you can read it. But like essentially the nuts and bolts of the Streisand effect is like what happens when you say you don't want something to get attention and you do everything you can to not give it attention and then just give it more attention. And so I honestly think more people are going to go and look at Rachel's critiques of the poetry, look to find out if it's valid or not. They're gonna go investigate and they're gonna go see what's up. What I think would be more funny is like if we somehow skyrocketed that one Get Ready With Me video to have more than just 4,000 views. To me, that would just be funny. If nothing else, like it would be funny to me if all of a sudden that video blew up. Like, I don't know. I'll leave it linked down below. You can choose to go watch it if you want to watch it. I'm gonna go give it a watch because now I'm interested. Okay, so I think that would be funny. But I think the larger point here that I'm trying to make is just that like Gabby has a lot of people who genuinely love her. Like, I went to this virtual like book tour meet and greet moment, and the people in this chat just like loved her. They loved her poetry. Like, they were able to name poems that they really enjoyed. They loved her music. She did a little performance and everybody was like, slay, yes, you're amazing. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if all that's necessary. But like, people like her. People really do. And I just like wonder what would a world look like if Gabby Hanna just leaned into that. If she just leaned into, here are the people that like me. Here are the people that support me. Let me make content for them. Let me put out tweets for them. Because I really think that changes your outlook on life, right? Like, speaking from personal experience, for a while, I was really concerned about what kind of content I was putting out. Who was I making content for? I was concerned because a lot of people had a lot of shit to say about me. And then I realized those are a handful of people. Like, by and far, people love and support me. They like my content, and that's who I'm gonna make content for. And that's what I want Gabby to think about. And I also like do want to say it's valid to be impacted by people who have negative things to say about you. I'm also not saying like tuck away your feelings, tuck away how those things make you feel. I'm just saying, like, maybe this isn't the venue to discuss those things, right? Like, maybe Twitter is not where you go and vent about getting a bad critique on a book that was literally a New York Times bestseller. I thought it said it on here somewhere. It doesn't, but it does say it on this one. New York Times bestseller, Gabby Hanna. You know, so you're literally out here selling poetry, whether this person thinks it's bad or good or whoever or whatever, okay? Just keep that in mind. That's really my thoughts. And I do want to say, like, Gabby is entitled to defend herself if she wants to, but I think that this is a good example of, like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell her that she can't or that she shouldn't, but that's ultimately for her to decide what she wants to do, and she's certainly an adult at this point and can make these choices. But what I am saying is that I don't personally think that this is, like, the look. You know, this is not maybe something you really want or have to do. I don't know, though. You let me know your thoughts down below. I will continue following Gabby Hanna's art. I'm fascinated by her music. Her poetry is a lot. If she puts out another poetry book, I'll buy it. I'll read it. I'll let you know what my thoughts are. But I want to hear what your thoughts are, so make sure to share them down below. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to give me a subscribe and, click the bell button so you get notifications, and do all of the YouTube stuff, like leaving comments down below, hitting like, and clicking share, and actually sharing it with somebody you think might enjoy this video. Also, consider following me on all of my social media right here. And I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!